to the hospital. And I said, yeah, I'll help you out, even though I'm not getting paid. I'll help him get him into your car, and I will drive my car, because I know that y'all are going to want to stay with him at the hospital. And I'll drive my car so I would be able to get back home. She said, okay. But I had an incident over here at my house, what I needed to take care of. And I did try to call her and warn her that I wasn't going to be able to make it that morning. But she didn't answer her phone. The other girl who was there working the night shift, because her grandson quit, she said, oh, that morning when you didn't show up to get him ready to go to the... She was back there having a fit. I had started getting them dressed and everything, and she come here screaming and yelling and hollering at me like I had did her something. I was just trying to do my job, because you wasn't supposed to be coming in anyway. And the woman was just like having a fit. But anyway, later on that day, I called her on a cell phone again, and she answered when she was at the hospital to see... I was checking to see how the surgery went and see how the patient was doing. And she told me he did that. The surgery went well, and he was recovering. And so I kept in touch with him, and I was like, so when is he coming home? And she told me the due date, but she didn't want the agency to send out anybody. She was gonna take care of him, until he healed from the scars from his surgery or whatever. Lies. It was a lie. This woman told the people that she had been having problems with me. She had been having problems with the other girl who worked during the afternoon shift, and that before me and this girl would be able to come back, this girl and I would be able to come back, she wanted to sit down and have a meeting. I was like, okay. So the agency started sending me to other places, to other clients to provide care. She did not know that. And one day I called Miss Pentecostal just to check on him and to see how things were going. And she was like, oh, things are going well. And I asked her, could I come over there to get my my report, because I needed to turn it into the office. She was like, oh, sure. And even asked me if I would bring up his eye drops for his eyes and drop them off to her house, and I did that. And 2 weeks or so went by, and that's when she calls in and tells the people, I don't want Tomas nor the other girl who was working afternoons back here to provide care for him. So I said, okay, that's fine. That is just fine. But after the surgery, this woman knew that she didn't want me and this other girl back over there. The dirty, low-down bitch she thought we were sitting out of work waiting to come back. So she kept telling them that, oh, we're going to have a meeting before I allow them to come back. But all along, she knew that she didn't want us back there. She was trying to hurt us for whatever reason, which I know the reason. When the girl called in and told the state that they were stealing electricity, and I wrote it in her notes, word got back to me that she been wanted us out of there. Because the state did send somebody out and to do an investigation, but at that time they had went ahead and removed the extension cord and stuff like that. I think the girl had already moved out of that camper, but she was trying to get back at us. I did not do that. Report her to the state out of spite. I did not do that. That is what I was taught in training to do. That was a sign of neglect and abuse. That's why I did that. Now, the other girl, she didn't want her back because they had other little words or whatever. And of course, she was the one that actually called the state and reported the situation. Um, and then another reason she didn't want me back is because of my sexuality. But that's a whole nother video. Um, but I didn't even try to take any legal actions or anything against that because the other girl who worked the day shift, night shift, oh no, who worked what was that? It was the evening shift. She had referred one of her friends to come over. Now this guy, he was flamboyantly gay. I mean, it was very obvious. And I was working that morning when they sent him back there to be trained. And she come call him. I guess she saw him, or her husband, somebody saw him getting out of the car, and she picked up the phone and called back there to Kira's trailer. I mean, to the guy's trailer. Y'all forgive me, but and asked me, who is that? Then I was like, oh, this is a person who they sent out for me to train. And I was happy to see the guy because I was tired of working 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Finally, you get somebody else back here. And she was like, well, they didn't tell me that they were sending anybody else out there. And I was sitting there thinking, like, they never tell you when they're sending a new person out here to be trained. Why are you coming at me like this? I was thinking that in my head. And I was like, well, you can call them. And she was like, okay, what's the number? And I had to go give her the number, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I get a phone call from the social worker of the agency that I was working for. And she told me to put such and such, the guy who I was training, put him on the phone. So I did that. And after they got off the phone, he tells me is that she told me just to get in my car and not to tell anybody anything, and we'll talk about it later. And that's the last I saw. That was the last time I saw him back there. Now, she had another old grandson who ain't worth shit, who she got the agency to hire to come back there. He came back there and told the girl who was working on the night shift, who was working on the evening shift, that this company tried to send another old faggot punk back here to work, and my grandmother say she just wasn't having it. Yeah, that's what she said. I called my mom and I told her about this situation. And my mom said she is wrong for that. Even if you don't approve of someone's lifestyle. The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. And this was a young man who was coming back there trying to make an honest dollar. And the Bible also says, my mom says, not to pass judgment. And she reminded me of the story in the Bible about the woman who was they caught her committing adultery, and the men were stoning her, trying to stone her to death. And Jesus walked up and he drew a line in the sand, and he said something about who has whatever committed, who hasn't committed a sin or something, cast the first stone. And all the men had to, drop the stones and walk away. And she reminded me of that passage, and she said, she is wrong. she's wrong because you don't approve of the person's lifestyle, you know. So, whatever. But yeah, that was my story of another fake and phony Christian who came into my life. Um, I dread the day that I see her again because we live in the same town. And I see her in Walmart or wherever. I don't think it's gonna go too good because I don't think I'm gonna be quiet about this. It's a lot that I want to say to her. It's a lot. I'm hoping that I'm able to keep my cool. I'm hoping I don't blow up. But it's a lot that I have to say to her. That hating ass bitch, Miss Pentecostal. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Later.